Hi, everybody. I'm Cathy Fyock, the Business Book Strategist. I'm welcoming Dr. Karen Hiltz. She's an advocate for parental choice in education and has published 2 books on the subject. We're here together to talk a little bit about her books and share some of her ideas with you. But first, let me tell you a little bit more about Dr. Hiltz. She's not just a lifelong educator. She served approximately 7 years in the U.S. Army, which led to a career in business where she worked on many high-profile, high-dollar federal government procurements. After retiring from her business career, she thought teaching at the college level would be a positive way to give back as well as share her knowledge and experience. However, teaching led her on another path, a path to help others understand the state of our current education system and the need for ensuring children are being provided a quality education. So welcome, Dr. Hiltz. Great
Thank
to
you.
have you here. So tell us first why you wrote your books.
Well, let me make one correction. I served in the U.S. Navy, not the U.S. Army.
Did I say Army?
That's okay. No big deal.
It's up to you.
Well, yeah, it's important to me. But the reason why I wrote these books is because, as Cathy said in the introduction, I am not a lifelong learner. I'm not a lifelong educator, but I am a lifelong learner. And I thought that sharing my business experience and knowledge and everything would be a positive thing. So I decided to go into teaching at the college level once I retired from my business career. And I had, one of those aha moments or epiphanies or whatever you want to call it with regards to how prepared or not prepared students are to go into a business environment, because I did teach business classes. And it troubled me. And I am like, oh my goodness, starting at the college level is not really the level that you need to start with regards to ensuring quality education for the youth of our society, of our country and stuff. So that led me down the path of serving on school boards, both private and public, at the K-12 level. And based on those experiences, I thought, my first book, which Cathy's showing behind her, which is the Case for Choice, this is a book of 12 stories, 12 individual stories from different educational environments. And what better way to help other people understand than telling stories of what's happened to other people, how to learn, how to reach out, who to reach out to. So many parents over the years that I've talked to have said, I don't even know where to go for help. I don't even know who to reach out to. I don't know what's available in my state. And the reality is that education, especially K-12 education, but even at the higher education level, education is a state level issue. It is guided and directed by state constitutions. People talk about the federal, but really the federal is kind of just like an overarching umbrella that just has regulatory and a wee little bit of money attached to it. But really where you impact education and make change is through your state legislatures and your local school boards. So that's what prompted me to write these books, is because of what I was experiencing, one, as a professor, and then two, by serving on school boards. Like I said, I have served on a private school board, a private Christian school board, and then I ran and was elected to a local public school board. And my second book, because Cathy did say that I wrote more than one book, my second book, which is The Apple Report, there's a long story behind the Apple Report, but this is the diary of a public school board member. And I wanted to share some of the experiences and challenges that I faced as someone who, even though sitting on a public school board, wanted to empower parents or let parents know that they can be empowered to make decisions about the education of their children. And the reality is that there are three education environments. There's public school, private school, and homeschool. And when people talk about school choice, they're really talking about those three and what is under the public education system, such as charter schools and transfer programs and scholarships and things like that. So there's a lot of information out there, but parents don't necessarily know where to go or to get. So that's kind of in a nutshell.
Wow. Wow. That's great. That's great. So tell us a little bit more about your beliefs about the educational system.
Well, my belief with regards to the education system stems around my faith, but it also stems from the fact of the experiences and what I saw, and that's the driver. Because there are too many children. Now, you hear, depending on what state you're in and stuff, depends on the curriculum that your public school system utilizes. And there's something I served in Virginia, which is where I served on a public school board. And in Virginia, we had standards of learning or SOL tests.
Mhm.
And not all states call them standards of learning testing, but there is an annual testing program within all states. And these tests are reflecting and revealing. And if you go back and look at the research, whether it be from the U.S. Department of Education and the data that they gather, or whether you look at nonprofits like the Heritage Foundation or the Fordham Institute, or Cato or any of those, they show that we are on a downward trend of testing with regards to math and English. And if you can't read, then you will have a problem with every other subject. And so having a good foundational reading program that helps children learn to read, not just memorize words by sight, but actually allow them to read and comprehend, as we did when I was going through elementary school, you're going to continue to have problems. And even on an international level, there is data out there that shows that the United States is not in the top 5 or the top 10 necessarily. We talk about Sweden. We have countries in some years when they do the international testing, which is, it's escaping me at the moment. But anyway, the international testing that they do, there's countries such as Poland, for example, that tests higher than the United States. Now, granted, there may be disparities with regards to testing and curriculum and things like that, but they do try to level the playing field with regards to the tests themselves.
Wow.
So it's kind of disheartening, since we are the greatest nation on earth. And we are the country that is a constitutional republic that allows freedoms and choice and things like that. But we're not excelling necessarily in our education assessments and adventures and curriculum and
Wow.
stuff.
Wow.
So
Wow.
so it's a very complicated, cumbersome, bureaucratic system. And we need, from my perspective, education needs to be pushed down to the state and local level. The feds need to get out of it. How that's done is up for debate, and there are many debates with regards to that. But there again, parents, bottom line is parents should be the deciders and the decision makers, but they need to be informed decision makers with regards to curriculum and the quality of education they want their child to have.
Wow. That's great. So, what are your goals then, based upon these two books that you've written?
Well, a couple of my goals are to have opportunities to speak to parent groups, to education, at education conferences, and to work collaboratively with some nonprofits in helping spread the word with regards to ensuring that parents are informed decision makers, letting parents know based on the state they live in what they can expect and what they need to fight for, and some tools and resources with which to be able to challenge their legislators and their school boards. And I am working with a couple of nonprofits attempting to get off the ground and start moving in that direction and stuff. So that's kind of the avenue path I'm seeking to take.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So tell everybody how they can reach you and what kinds of ways that you would love to connect with the audience here today.
Well, if you would like to reach out to me, my email address is very simple. It's my last name and my first initial. So it's hiltzk@yahoo.com. That's what I'm working under at the moment. And you can buy either one of my books, The Case for Choice or Diary of a Public School Board Member, at any local bookstore or online. So it's very widely distributed. So please feel free to go out there and have a look and have see what you think about the books. And I welcome feedback because we only get better when we get feedback and know where we have deficiencies as writers, as authors, as speakers, and that's the way we reach out and help and improve whatever avenue we're trying to improve or whatever issue we're trying to improve. So
Absolutely. Well, I love this conversation, Dr. Karen Hiltz. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. And remember that you can reach out to her. Let's give the email address one more time.
it's hiltzk@yahoo.com.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.